As a fisherman of men's souls, you should be asking others to believe and join God's kingdom. When they tell you they believe and ask what they can do to help, tell them that a few dollars to help build God's house and temple in Jerusalem would be nice. I really don't like asking people for money, and if you'll notice, this is probably the first time you have ever heard me do so. In almost all of my teachings, I have refrained from doing it because my faith is strong enough to know that God will provide. I do realize out of necessity that some foundational seed money would make the transition a lot easier. And besides that, it is all our duty to do at least something to help. And this is just one way to show your support. I am willing to acknowledge that I am not the most theologically knowledgeable person there is, but apparently that has not kept God from choosing me, even though I don't know everything there is to know about religion. There are plenty of people out there who have a doctorate in theology that could probably better explain some of the more complex things dealing with religion than I ever could. So why didn't God choose them? Maybe it's because the complex things that a doctorate degree will allow you to understand has very little to do with spiritually healing people. What they should be teaching people is what true faith really is. That is the kind of wisdom that shows you really know what you're talking about. And that is the kind of wisdom I believe I have and know all about. Have you ever told one of your children they have the free will to choose whether to obey you or disobey you? Neither has God. My mother's maiden name is Bishop, therefore that makes me a bishop from birth, which makes perfect sense, especially for the one chosen to be the first bishop of New Jerusalem. The Bishop of New Jerusalem is the high priest. Although this position is technically higher than the Bishop of Rome, it is in no way meant to lessen the importance of the Pope, who has the full authority to act in my stead. I wonder if it's possible to write a computer program that would change the word Allah to Abba in every computer document in the world, or flash the words Jesus has returned on every computer screen, or replace every existing web page with another one that says this is the second coming, or sends everyone an email inviting them to the wedding supper of the Lamb, judgment and Armageddon. Or that burns out the CPU of every computer it comes in contact with. I'm not that familiar with computers, and I certainly don't advocate computer espionage. But it seems that it would be really easy to get everyone's attention in such a way that it would be impossible for the government-controlled medias of the world to ignore us. If you shut down every computer in the world, it would awaken everyone to the truth that Jesus is here. I'm going to teach the world a lesson. Only truth that applies to all circumstances can be claimed to have come from God. Divine truth is not arbitrary. It does not change to reflect a certain situation. If you went into a country where no one is allowed to believe, you would probably start out by telling people they have the free will to choose to believe and obey, because you want some of them to choose to accept what you're saying. But if you went into a country where everyone believes, would you tell people that they have the free will to choose whether to believe or not? You only would do that if you were working for Satan, trying to get some of them not to believe. Satan is the one who the free will to choose came from. In the beginning there was only good, and it was Satan that told them they had the free will to choose not to believe or disobey. I hope this proves to you that the free will to choose did not come from God. Do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil means that we are not given the freedom to choose between good and evil. The free will to believe in God or not would fall into the realm of choosing between good and evil, and therefore is not one of the choices we are allowed to make. If God tells you not to do something and you decide to do it anyway, how can you say He gave you the free will to choose whether to do it or not, when in fact you took an option you were not offered? It's like stealing something you were not free to take. When He tells you not to do something, He's not giving you the freedom or free will to do it if you want. The first thing you give up when you come to God to receive His grace is the free will to choose. And as long as you think you have the free will to choose, it shows that you are not really in a state of full grace. You will believe or perish. Perish is not a choice. It is a consequence. You will believe is not a choice either. It is a command. Adam and Eve were deceived, and any decision made under the guise of deceit cannot be said to have been freely made. Every time you tell someone they have the free will to choose, you are spreading that deceit by deceiving others. If I'm speaking truth that is so profound that you can't handle it, would you prefer that I veil it like Moses did because you can't face the truth? Or would you prefer to learn to accept it?